name here, it will be volatile because Silly Goose does have the exhaust. He's got Hail Blades on Tristana, and it's Pantheon Tristana. Pantheon hits level 2. It's WQ onto the Ashe, and then Tristana puts the bomb and jumps on you. It is so much damage, a ton of burst. It could be an early level 2 kill. And it could not, if the Ashe and Thresh play it well, they could just make it out of lane just fine. But I'm hoping to see some action down here because Gangplank versus Ornn, kind of not the most exciting lane.
Yeah, we do actually see a deep ward get put down there by Tay on the Echo, warding up that Raptors camp as Thrasian on the Shen and Bubble Bath Boy both starting on the top side of the map to get us started. We could see some serious action come level 3, not even maybe in the bot lane, but also over potentially that Scuttle Crab.
Scuttle Crab is what we'll most likely be seeing contested, and it'll be interesting to see because in the Tristana Ashe lane, whoever gets push will be able to help, but because Ashe has the W and Tristana naturally just pushes lanes with her passive, it's curious to always see who gets that initial push in that lane. Right now, it looks like it's going towards Silly Goose. There's the engage on level 2.
Oh, Rocket Jump coming in here, a solid flay, but Kraydog's gonna get sent down to about half HP. Really exactly the kind of trade we want to see come out of Silly Goose and Lindy.
On the other side of the map, though, you are seeing Derpy Byzantine take the bad end of some trades with this Gangplank, and Gangplank with grass is incredibly tanky, is able to poke Ornn out from a good distance, and is going to have a massive advantage early on in this lane. So we'll see if there's any solo kills topside. But right now, the pace is just going to slow back down. Sejuani will pick up that first Scuttle Crab because of the push in the bottom lane, but Shen is around, so we might see some action.
Thrasian's gonna start heading up potentially to that Scuttle Crab, just sitting in the river bush right now, as we do see Bubble Bath Boy taking a visit to the mid lane, but Rava ready and waiting. So we do see Thrasian still sitting in this bush, waiting to make a play happen, does have the Flash Taunt available.
Yeah, he's gonna go in now.
Oh, here we go. Thrasian does get stunned up here. And Silly Goose and Lindy, they're just going to be able to walk away from this one. Bubble Bath Boy is looking to join the fight here, going through the tri-bush. Thrasian doesn't know that the Sejuani has arrived to the bot lane. Neither does Kraydog. The Drift Esports bot lane has to be really careful here at the moment. They do have a wave pushing. The Hawk Shot actually coming in clutch there, Valley. Is this going to spot out Bubble Boy?
Yeah, we were 100% looking at a dive there from Bubble Bath Boy if that wave crashes into the tower. Instead, the Hawk Shot is really well done there from Volatile. Honestly, it's a pretty broken ability, let's be honest here, but Derpy Byzantine gets a nice engage.
Does have the cloth armor, some additional resistances, and already an Otter looking out of water here. He's going to get taken down for first blood as the Ornn comes out on top.
Done by the Ornn. Derpy Byzantine knows the damage he can execute perfectly, gets a beautiful knockup, follows up with the Bellows Breath, and that flash auto to secure it is just perfect. But now Bubble Bath Boy here off the TP.
Oh, he has no flash available. Bubble is here, and Otter looking to get taken down once again, and in fact, he does. 0-2, suddenly out of nowhere, and Derpy Byzantine has an amazing amount of pressure going in his favor for the Ornn.
We're going to see a replay here for these kills in that top lane. We're going to see the TP comes in from an Otter. He thinks I'll get back to lane. Derpy Byzantine is low, but gets knocked up again by the pillar and the charge, and it's a flash in to secure the stun by Bubble Bath Boy. Has the aftershock, and after there was no flash left on Shen, there's not a lot you can do there if you're an Otter, right? Like if you're the Gangplank, yeah, oranges are great, but there's not a lot of escapability against that wombo combo, and it's the classic solo queue mistake, right? It's I just got solo killed, I'm gonna teleport back to the middle of the lane instead of my tower where I'm safe, I have no vision, and he gets punished for it. Really well done on the side of Divine Ascension, but if you're the side of Drift, things are not looking good for you here early on.
Yeah, we consider the starting items from an otter. Corrupting Potion and the Coal. He's wanting to just survive out of this lane. Probably took armor, runes, potentially even the magic resistance. Not going to do a whole heck of a lot to the early game damage from Orin and Sejuani. And with no additional resistances, this Gangplank is quite squishy, especially when caught off guard like Derpy Byzantine and Bubble Bathboy were able to catch him on.
This shouldn't be happening, right? This can't be happening if you're Drift Esports. We talked about it in the draft on the analyst desk. That this is not the play, but interrupted.
Teleport Lindsay flash in the Silly's already picking up a kill with the charge. Thrasian joining the fight here, had to flash away, and Volatile is the one taken down.
Or stuff going the way of Divine Ascension. Beautiful TP in from Tay. Now they're going to pick up the Drake as well, and the pace of the game is controlled by this roster. They say, hey, we know you have to get out to an early lead. You have to get the advantage early on, and we're not going to let you. We're going to make plays top side. We're going to make plays bot side. We're going to use our TPs. We're going to use our advantageous lanes and our jungle pressure to choke you out and put you behind, because we know we scale better. And right now, if you're a Drift fan, you are getting a little bit concerned. You have a scaling team comp, but again, we talked about it. It doesn't do that much in team fights. It has a difficult time team fighting, and it's really, really hard. But we will see the replay of this fight in the bottom lane. You see the TP comes in from Tay. He's already got the lockdown going, and Volatile dies before that. Steps too far up, gets stunned up by the Pantheon, and that's the damage we're saying that can come out of this bot lane duo. Yes, the pressure is there from the Echo, but you have so much value coming in from this duo in the bottom lane.
Tay able to deal a bunch of damage to Rava in the mid lane, but looking at that bot lane replay, there is just so much control from this Scarlet squad. They took what they can get and didn't push too hard. They were able to back off, get the dragon. Now they've got themselves almost a 2,000 gold lead that they'll be looking to extend with the Rift Herald and with Tristana pushes.
Point out something super important here. You see the wards across the map early on, and almost all of them are in the favor of Divine Ascension. There's very little vision control for Drift. They have the control ward in their Tri-Brush, so they can't get flanked, and they have a ward in the river, but this can be easily avoided, and you're seeing Echo just kind of roaming down there, creating some pressure, saying, hey, we want to make sure you guys back off and this bot lane doesn't get too frisky. But all that vision control is going to make it really hard for any objectives to be played by this Shen.
Yeah, and it seems like right now, Divine Ascension, they want to pull the trigger on this Rift Herald. The exact objective they're looking to try to pick up to extend this 2,000 gold lead. They can use it really wherever they want. Very likely, though, going to be leaning towards that bot lane so we can really see Silly Goose get out on the map and kind of act like a Caitlyn in game, kind of like how you talked about during the draft phase, thinking now this is kind of a replacement to the long range sniper. Tristana is able to do a lot of the same things.
She absolutely is. She gains the range with her bomb. She's also able to do a ton of damage to turrets, acts as a great siege AD carry. And something interesting to look at as we, start to get towards those first items is, okay, Shen's in, and
Lantern, deflate, interrupting the rocket jump. Silly Goose looking silly in the bot lane. Gonna get taken down here with Ranger focus there from Volatile. Cleanly picking that one up. Flash was burned from Kraydog, and Silly Goose just didn't have an opportunity to get out of there, as an Otter is getting quite low in the top lane. Call the Forge God still available, not going to be used just yet, as Thrasian caught out looking for a Scuttle Crab, gets hit by the Glacial Prison, and there is just no escape from 3 members of Divine Ascension. That's going to be a quick kill, answered right back.
Was a beautiful lane gank set up by the Shen, and the Thresh turns into a 1-for-1 because Thrasian sticks around for too long. He's grading for a Scuttle Crab. You're already behind. You can't be making plays like that. You don't have vision control. You don't have river control. I know it's the river Shen, quote unquote, but you have to be a little bit smarter than that. If you're Thrasian, you just got value and you gave it right back.
Yeah, and thinking about how both of these teams are going to be scaling into the late game, you have Derpy Byzantine on the Ornn already level 9. And those are going to be some solid ornament upgrades that can just make this Tristana, I feel like, seemingly unkillable. I mean, surely you're going to be picking up a Locket of the Iron Solari somewhere for these heavy health tanks.
It definitely will be seeing an Locket of Iron Solari. Probably third item for Derpy Byzantine, just because it's so valuable in that third item slot. Bubble the Boy is down in this bottom lane. He wants to get a Rift Herald off, but I don't think they have the wave to do it just quite yet. But like you mentioned, we are going to see those Ornn items come through. That's most likely why we're seeing the Serrated Dirk for the Pantheon. Is good with lethality. If he goes Dustblade, he can get an early Ornn item and scale very heavily, especially since you're probably going to see a delayed Ornn item in the mid lane as Proto Belt. Not really upgradable in that way. So Tay's not going to get his until he gets Rabadon's Death Cap, which is perfectly fine. You're probably looking at this bottom lane getting theirs first, and then we'll start to see the other ones come through. But on the other side of things, again, it's looking rough. Yes, you have Sheen on your gangplank, and he's able to do a little bit more damage, but still not, a full item compared to the completed Sunfire Cape. You're getting a scaling item in Seraph's Embrace in the middle lane. You're also going Blade of the Rune King for more survivability in the bot lane. All these are expensive items that are taking way too long to get to for the side of Drift, and that is making it hard for them to even consider taking fights around objectives.
The Cannon Barrage is available from Otter, but Drift Esports going to try to move over, put the pedal in the metal in the top lane, but Derpy Byzantine, he's just going to be able to walk away. This Ornn is really not worried about too much in the current state of the game, as we do see Divine Ascension pick up their second Drake of the game. This is already 12.5 minutes into the game. This could be a really quick Infernal Soul, as Otter is going to start trading with Byzantine, not proccing the barrel just yet, kind of in an awkward position. Gonna explode it there is Rava. For a second there, thought he was able to pick up a level advantage in the mid lane, but it's just so even. Lindy Hop looking to jump into the mid lane here onto Rava, but safe under turret. The move speed enough to get away.
All the Forge God, though.
Oh, Bubble Boy in the top lane, dodging the Glacial Prison. Otter's looking to get out of here using the Cannon Barrage. Thracian is here, but it's going to be too late. It's only a level 7. Shen, ult the shield, not too much, and just simply not enough. Lindy Hop going to give him a spear to go, as Gangplank does get taken down once again. Otter off to a rough start.
Doesn't even get hit by any of the abilities. The CC, the Call the Forge God misses, the Glacial Prison misses. His Lindy Hop can't find a stun, still dies, and Otter not able to survive. No amount of oranges are going to keep you alive in this case. So he walks away. Another kill for Divine Ascension. And Mac, I'm not the type that's going to ever say a game is over at 14 minutes, but I want to take a moment to talk about, how does Drift get back in this game? And that has to come through making smart and calculated plays. You got really unlucky with the role of an Infernal Drake, because an Infernal Drake on a Tristana, a Pantheon, and an Echo is terrifying. But you have to take these timings between the next two Drakes to give yourself time to get towards 2 items, to allow that Seraph's Embrace to start stacking up, and then try to make plays in these side lanes with your Shen, with your Orianna ult, with your Enchanted Crystal Arrow, because if that can happen, if they can find these picks and then transfer a pick into an objective, into vision control, they could potentially get back into the game. It's going to be incredibly difficult, but they have to remain patient.
Yeah, they do have tools like the Stand United, as you mentioned, the Enchanted Crystal Arrow as well. With Kraydog, they really do have quite a CC chain, but with Silly Goose still has the summoners available. Those haven't been forced out. There really hasn't been much of an attempt outside of that one gank from Thracian, where Kraydog burned his flash. That was a whole 5 minutes ago. Since they revisited the bot lane to try to keep up the pressure, top lane is rough with an Otter already down 2 levels. They got to be looking for something. Rava has been consistent in the mid lane though, 0-0-0 so far, has the most CS in the game currently, and is just looking to scale up on this Orianna, but it may be too late until the shockwaves are effective in team fights.
It's a little bit of hope for them, though. If you look at that bot lane, it's about even in CS, and it's even in kills and deaths between the AD carries. So this Tristana is not scared out of control, but now in the river, there's a fight.
Shadow Dash does land. Thrasian found the taunt. Press the attack. Does proc here as Tay looking for the stun called. The Forge God being made here. Shockwave coming out. Tay avoids it. Hextech Proto Belt forward. The Time Winder not going to finish it off, but the whack from the stick is as another kill goes over to Divine Ascension, and we keep worrying, how is Drift going to come back?
Kill how it goes onto the Echo, and that is not a good sign for Drift. You had most of the kills on the Sejuani and Ornn previously, and you're saying, okay, that's acceptable. They're the tanks. Eventually, those kills will mean items, but it won't mean them killing us, right? But now it's on an Echo that can delete you off the map. You've got a kill on Tristana, a kill on Pantheon. This is getting hairy for Drift, and if more of that pressure goes into the bottom lane, if they're able to get more gold into the pockets of this Tristana from these plays in the top side of the map, that's when we're going to have to start getting a little bit worried about where this is going, as the second Rift Herald is going to be picked up, and Lindy Hop might have bit off a bit more than they can chew.
Oh, the explosive plant is available, but the flay's going to be enough. The auto attack not quite there. Shadow Dash going to land the taunt. Lindy does have flash available, but not going to waste it here. Caught way out of position in the Infernal Drake as it's about to spawn here in 30 seconds. Grand Starfall is available, but it could be too late.
He should be back in time to contest it, but vision control will be in favor of Drift. This is where they have to steal an objective away. If you're the side of Divine Ascension, you have an option here. You can try to say, hey, we'll 50-50 this objective, or you can go into these sort of things, right? We are going to hop into a replay. Excuse me. We're going into the Drake, but it is going to be a Rift Herald summon in mid lane, and they are going to just sack this this Drake, right? So they're going to drop the Rift Herald in the middle lane. It's going to hit the tower, and now a fight.
And a Crystal Arrow does land onto Bubble Boy. Gets pulled in here just a little bit. Tay, Burn, Chrono Shift available there. I think a little bit of a misclick is going to cost Bubble Boy his life here, as a pick in the mid lane could be very huge. Did drop the Rift Herald there, I believe, getting the mid lane turret a little low as Lindy Hop at the ready, just waiting. Death Sentence, though, interrupts the stun there. Lindy caught out and in danger. Rangers focus, plus the Orianna going to be huge, but parallel convergence coming up. Tay's looking to try to make this play work. Silly Goose getting low here. Golden Forge God Flake coming in. Derpy Byzantines looking to change this in favor of Divine Ascension, but Volatile's still healthy. Rava's still healthy, and no one's getting taken down. Even an Otter has joined in on the fun, and Drift Esports are right back in this game, and Otter flashing away from Tay. He's gone too far. Gotta reel it in a little bit, but that's huge kills coming in favor for Drift Esports in the mid lane.
Pick up a dragon, they pick up a mid lane turret, and they pick up 4 kills. Drift is back in this game. They are not out of this race yet, and they are fighting for game 1 of the first ever game of the mid-league season. We are going to go into a replay of that fight. Hey, and we're going to see how this breaks down, right? We're going to start off on the Drake, and, I like the call from Divine Ascension to, give up the Drake, try to go for a tower, but they're a little bit late on the decision. The Rift Herald isn't strong enough to knock him down, and Enchanted Crystal Arrow locks up the Sejuani, and while she's tanky, she can't get out yet. An early Chrono Shift has to be used, and now Tay is just walking away, has to sacrifice the jungler, and that's okay, right? That's a fine pick. You lost a little, but then they try to contest for this tower, and it's very split up, right? You see Lindy Hop goes in early with no support yet. Silly Goose isn't there. Tay isn't there. The Echo has no ultimate, and now it's going to be very, very difficult, even with the call of the Forge God on the flank, for them to come back into this fight. In the end, they overextend, they lose more, and we're going to see that it's shifted back in the favor of Drift. They're still not fully back in the game. They're behind in gold a little bit, but they are in a solid spot to make a contest out of this game. They've delayed that soul point. They're getting more control around the map, especially with it being the mid-tier one that they knocked down first. They can get some vision in the enemy jungle. They're very well off now.
Yeah, funny enough, Valley, at the same time you're talking about Lindy Hop getting caught out there in the previous team fight, the same thing was happening live once again. Lindy able to take away the blue buff, but for not very long, as once again just caught out being way too aggressive in the enemy jungle. We saw Drift Esports utilize their composition strength and really finally land that Enchanted Crystal arrow that we've been looking for through this first 18 to 20 minutes or so. Now, really, I'm just looking for them to rinse and repeat that style of engage. Kraydog was massive in the previous fight with his peel, and now they got to try to avoid getting caught out as an Otter potentially getting ganked here. Bubble Bath Boy wants the gangplank. It's Grand Starfall behind. This is a bad situation. An Otter 1v3, 1v4, gonna get taken down here. Silly Goose getting the shutdown gold, and that's the last member of Divine Ascension you would want that extra gold on.
It's not who you want to see that extra gold going on to, but you're gonna look at why is an Otter there, right? It's hard to watch that and be like, okay, well, he got caught out, right? That's just a good play from Divine Ascension. And yes, they punish it, but that is a big mistake from an Otter because you're playing weak side as this gangplank. You're supposed to be the person that's kind of pulling pressure. You're just absorbing waves, and you're not really creating your own pressure per se. But because the rest of your team isn't playing towards you on strong side, and they aren't, making plays onto the top tier 1, they aren't trying to push down the mid tier 2, then you are way too far up and creating too much pressure for your team to come and support you. And that is an easy place to get caught out on. We see an Otter falls, and now we're back to the point where it's going to be 30 seconds before this next Infernal, and this time we're going to see a full-fledged 5v5.
Yeah, it is really important to note here, Derpy Byzantine level 13 really starting to rev up. Next level, going to be able to upgrade some more ornaments as we do see both team posturing around this next objective. Could be potentially huge. Soul point for Divine Ascension would be really nice, but really if you're Drift Esports, you don't necessarily have to fight this. It's only soul points, not the Infernal Soul, but the Call of the Forge got it to be made, flashed out onto Silly Goose, but there's just no follow-up. Shed's gonna get exploded. Meanwhile, Tay on the back line has already got Volatile to half HP. Lindy Hop gonna throw in a javelin. Bubble Bath Boy looking to find another re-engage. Glacial Prison already used here with the DPS members of Drift Esports quite low here. Rava, no shockwave available. The Searing Charge gonna find its target. Bubble Bath Boy's in the middle of both carries here, and they're just not dealing enough damage. Derpy Byzantine gonna pick up the kill. Silly Goose is hopping right back in. Kraydog and an Otter, the only members left alive. An Otter trying to pick up a kill onto the Tristana, but the parlay just not enough. Silly Goose barely able to survive, and that is a late clean ace for Divine Ascension around the dragon.
It's an ace. It is an Infernal Drake, and it is going to be a knocked down tier 2 most likely for the side of Divine Ascension. They get everything in that fight. The combo of ultimates is good to zone people out. They get the initial pick off, and then even though they have low health bars on Silly Goose, who you think is going to be the carry, they have so much layered CC and tankiness that it is insane. They get so much value. We're going to see in the replay how this all shakes out. There's a lot of good posturing happening, vision control just being put down, but it's hard for Drift to get in. They only have the Enchanted Crystal Arrow and the Orianna ultimate to make a play, and they don't want to overcommit early. You see the Call of the Forge God come out. It's going to knock someone up as he flashes in to try and interrupt it. And meanwhile on the backside, Tay is distracting 2 members, pulls out the shockwave and dodges it with the chrono break as Thrasian falls. And now you don't have any ultimates. You use the Ash Arrow, you use your Orianna ultimate, and you see there's low health bars, right? Silly Goose is kind of low, but what utility do you have if you're the side of Drift? They try to re-engage, but it's too tanky in this front line with this Sejuani and this Ornn. No one can really do anything. Silly Goose plays on the backside and just deletes Kraydog. And now we are back into the action.
Lindy Hop has found the engage. Shockwave being used, finds multiple members of Divine Ascension, but the health bars just aren't getting low quick enough. Silly Goose is on a killing spree. Rocket jump forward. He wants to extend this fight as Derpy finds the knockup once again. Day's going to take down Rob as another rocket jump forward. Silly Goose is looking to make this a party as an Otter barely escapes, the only member of Drift Esports left alive, and we got to think, Valley, this is going to be Baron.
100% Baron. There is no way to contest this. There's no cannon barrage on an Otter, and I don't even know why that fight is happening. Yes, you can't let them just Baron. You have to kind of walk in, but you have to be more careful about it. They're all grouped up there. They get hit by these mass CC AoE ultimates, and there's Silly Goose with his Storm Razor, with his Molten Edge upgraded. You do not want to be fighting in a tight space against Orange Sejuani and a Tristana.
Exactly. Silly Goose just able to pop off there, and Bubble Bath Boy, a 3-level lead on Thrasian. Derpy Byzantine, a 2-level lead, as the Hawkshot is going to be able to spot out that Sejuani. Also before that fight, Silly Goose able to get his Molten Edge online. This Orange so ahead, already able to upgrade items at the 25-minute mark.
It's super massive for the side of Divine Ascension, right? We saw the Ornn get ahead, and we're saying, okay, well, it won't translate into kills necessarily. Drift got a good fight. They were getting back into it. But in the span of 3 minutes, it went from 6-6 to 6-16 in kills. So there's a moment in a game where a power spike comes online for a team, or a fight happens that is favorable for a team, despite it being almost even in gold. And that moment happened at that Infernal Drake. And now, I don't know what options Drift has. Divine Ascension really has to throw this lead away for them to not come out with the victory in this game. Right now, they just need to keep applying pressure, stack waves, knock down objectives and towers while the Baron buff is still up, and then use that to turn into vision around this Infernal Soul. Tay's going to go in on Rava.
Parallel Convergence does land, but the cleanse is going to be used, and Tay's going to piece on out of there. As soon as he burns the Summoner spell, takes what he can get, doesn't have a lot of vision control of the surrounding area, doesn't know who is around lurking, and Divine Ascension are going to continue slowly suffocating Drift Esports out of this match. They already have themselves a 9,000 gold lead on top of the ornament items that are going to be coming online on top of the Infernal Soul. They're looking to pick up. It puts Drift Esports in a really tough position. They're going to have to try to find a pick onto someone, but who's going to be there? They don't have a lot of follow-up for the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Gangplank doesn't have a lot of agency when that CC hits, and you're just going to be relying on Thrasian maybe to get a Shockwave combo off with Rava.
That is a very big ask from this team, especially into such tanky members, right? You've got an Ornn with 2 items, and he has 100 magic resist. On the other side, Sejuani has a ton of health and has armor, so they're both going to be very, very tanky in these fights, and there's no vision control for the side of Drift, right? They have a couple of wards around mid lane and the entrance from mid lane towards the river on their side, but that's it. The entire river is dark. They can't see the Drake at all, and an Otter can, I guess, drop an ult, but we're just playing TPs from both top laners right here, and an Otter has to be very careful, because if he TPs and Derpy Byzantine does it, he still has Baron. He can take a lot very quickly.
Infernal Drake has spawned. Silly Goose is going to pull aggro immediately. We do see 4 members of Drift Esports are looking to try to contest this objective, but the Drake, it looks like it's been pulled out here. Directed Camera wants us to keep eyes on the Pool Noodle fight in the top lane, as we do see the Sejuani is able to secure that Infernal Soul. Glacial Prison onto Cray Dog. He's getting CC'd up here. Thrasian quite low. Silly Goose forced to rocket jump away there. Everyone looks like just going to back off here, but importantly, the Infernal Soul secured for Divine Ascension.
It's going to add so much burst to their already insane amounts of damage. Silly Goose has 3 items and an Infernal Soul. He is going to be doing a ton of damage. Drift is going to be in a world of hurt, as they're just going to take away the jungle here. They knock down that outer tier 2. Baron has fallen off, but it's spawning again in about 2 minutes. This is when, if you're the side of Drift, you try to get a little back, right? You try to maximize the amount of farm you're able to put into your carries, whether that's your Ashe or your Orianna. Try to get close to a 3rd item before this next fight, but you're reaching a little bit with that hope. So we'll have to wait and see, but it is going to be a lull state for at least, a minute and a half.
Right, as we see Baron Nashor on the market as Drift Esports, they're just trying to hang on here, and surprisingly, they've been able to do so. They survived the Baron power play, didn't lose any inhibitors, but they are 10,500 gold down with more upgraded items. on the docket here. Zonia's, I think, being rushed here by Tay first. The Rabadon's death cap going to be a little delayed, but they're sending Cleaver already online for Lindy Hop. That's going to destroy Thrasian. Really, the Gangplank picking up a Asterix Gauge, trying to avoid a little bit of that burst. And honestly, Drift Esports, they are slowly getting some items on the line, but it's just been such a controlling match here. I wonder if Divine Ascension, maybe they're going to slow Shockwave onto Lindy Hop, press the attack proc as well. Thrasian wants to try to continue this fight. Lindy Hop flashing away, avoids the pick, and Divine Ascension still really haven't died, it seems like, in the past 10 minutes.
They absolutely haven't, and that's a beautiful idea from Drift. They need to find a pick like that, but they don't have the damage to do it. I mean, this is an Obsidian Cleaver Pantheon. He's not even that tanky. He just has a lot of health, but the shield is really good, and he's able to flash over the wall and survive long enough that they are going to be able to push in these waves, set up for this Baron, and one of two things is going to happen here, right? We're either going to see a fight as they pull off the Baron, and Drift is going to get wiped, or they're going to try and stay on the Baron, and Drift is able to find a pick off and maybe get lucky. But there's at least a hook to say, hey, I'm still here. Kraydog's still in the game. Don't forget about me, guys.
Death Sentence are still a very real threat as the Death Bush tactic trying to be applied here by Divine Ascension. They're just going to say, heck with that. Going to start on Baron Nashor. Complete vision control. Tay in a Guardian position. The gatekeeper of the Baron pit going to be watching to make sure there's no interaction for this objective as Silly Goose is going to secure it. Cannon Barrage coming down a little bit too late as the rest of Drift Esports going to roll on out away back to the base and continue, I guess, just continuously clearing away those minion waves. It's going to be a little tougher now with Baron Nashor secured.
Last Baron power play, we didn't really see much pressure put on the objectives by the side of Divine Ascension. Now we are seeing them use this Baron and try to get the Tristana in. Like we said early in the game, very good siege AD carry with her range, with her bomb, and now with Baron, it is going to be even more so. This play, not contesting the Baron, is Drift saying, hey, we don't think you can beat us with only the Baron, so we think we're going to try and take as much farm, as much extra gold as we possibly can, and then we'll fight you at Elder, which is going to be up in about a minute 45. We want to make the make or break play. If we're able to 50-50 Elder, if we're able to steal that away from you, maybe we can turn this game, but Baron is not where we want to make our last stand.
And we do see Bubble Bath Boys all the way on the bottom side of the map just now, starting to try to get some split push pressure as Thrasian looking for the flank here, does have the Shadow Dash, Death Sentence into the Shockwave combo. That's going to be Tay absolutely obliterated as Robin is getting focused. Silly Goose still alive here, firing away, but the focus there from Volatile to take down his fellow ADC. Shut down Gold, going to the Ash, going to continue drilling into Derpy. Absolutely crazy fight here for Drift Esports. Finally, the Ord gets taken down, what seems like so long, but with no DPS there to stick along the road with him. That's a clean 4v5 fight, I believe it was there for Drift Esports, and they're exactly where they want to be, shutting down the Baron power play.
Understand why they're even making that play with who they have in the side lanes. We're going to see this replay. You have your jungler in the side lanes. Put your Pantheon there. He can ult in. The Sejuani can't. Big shockwave onto 2. Knocks Silly Goose low even with the shield. If Silly Goose is full health here, he does so much damage. Even with him being low health, they nearly turn this fight around. A sliver more HP. Maybe he gets out and is able to actually pull that fight out, but it's not going to be the case. And it will be a fight going the way of Drift. And now they have
Here come the tanks, but they're not going to be able to do a whole lot here as Volatile and Rava are completely healthy there, and the Elder Drake has spawned here. Valley Drift Esports potentially here with the unbelievable comeback are still down quite a bit of gold, but picking up the Elder Drake is a huge momentum swing.
Is a massive win for Drift. They get the vision control, they get the setup in the bush, and they get their wombo combo. Silly Goose and Lindy Hop are deleted off of the Rift way too early in the fight for them to even have an impact, and then it's just the tanks and an Echo, and that is not a fight you are ever going to win. Elder Drake secured. We have a game on our hands, Mac Dewey.
With the Elder Drake online, they're going to have to wait a little bit for Baron Nashor to respawn here, but this is your time to get out on the map. Really continue to group up here, keep an Otter away from those solo lanes. That's not what has been working for you, but it's suddenly a shift to pace here. Now it's Drift Esports who got to put their foot on the gas pedal. They've been playing so passively here. They could find themselves overextending, I feel like, once again, like they were in the early game.
It's definitely a momentum swing. How Drift Esports handles this momentum is crucial. And you'd think a team named Drift Esports with a card on their logo would know how to, monitor the momentum, but we'll have to wait and see, right? We saw that slight momentum swing early into the game, right? When they got a team fight in the mid lane, but that didn't work out for them afterwards. They got caught out in bad fights. They didn't have objective or vision control, and now we have to wait and see. They still don't have Baron, so it's not necessarily the greatest sieging pressure. They'll get a little bit of value in the side lane, but it's not like they have a Baron to knock down these turrets.
And they also don't have vision control around that red side jungle. You still see several wards from the side of Divine Ascension just chilling there, not yet cleared. I'm hoping to see Drift Esports try to move over and get some pressure on that side of the map, as an Otter's got to be careful here in the split push position. Is a lot farther now in his build in this game, feeling a little bit better, the same level as Derpy Byzantine now after an entire 35 minutes of being behind this pesky Orin. Feels like an Otter finally in a position to start really playing the game after the rough early game. Rocket Jump expended really early here. Wonder if an Enchanted Crystal Arrow could come out.
What's interesting here is that, one, like you said, an Otter is going to finally be doing damage as he builds towards that Essence Reaver. And two, if we look at the itemization, there's a fight.
Ooh, Shockwave coming up big. Tay's going to be deleted. The Death Sentence finishing him off as Gold Forge God is made. 911. We've got an emergency by the Wolves here. And Otter trying to do a little bit of damage here. Silly Goose, though, hopping around and popping off here. Gets hit by the taunt. Getting so low here. Going to use the Buster Shot there to try to get some space here. Rocket Jump away again. Flying all over the place. Stays alive and comes up big. That's a 4 for 2 in favor of Divine Ascension.
It's a 4 for 2, and it's a third Baron for the side of Divine Ascension. We'll see if they can get enough value with it this time, as we're still 3 minutes away from an Elder Drake. But that is such a weird fight to take. I understand Drift wants to take a fight while they still have the Elder. They want to push that advantage to its maximum potential. But again, they don't win team fights if they can't delete the carries. And Silly Goose is not there at the start of that fight, is able to wait patiently while the beginning of that fight plays out, and then is able to just hop over the wall and do a ton of damage. The Nashor will fall. It will be that third one, and we're almost 40 minutes into this game. The gold differential is almost becoming non-consequential between these two teams. It all comes down to execution, and right now, it seems like both teams are a little bit nervous. They don't know exactly what they want to execute on. They're making a little bit mistakes, overextending a bit, putting the wrong people in side lanes. And whichever team slips up first right now at this Elder Drake fight coming up in 2 minutes, that is the team that will most likely lose this game.
Yeah, and I do want to point out the last Baron power play we saw Bubble Bath Boy in the side lane, no TP or anything to really join the fight in the top side of the map. Tay burns teleport just to get to the Baron pit when only Thresh is alive, and he's going to be a lot less useful in the side lane as a potential split pusher, who I would think would be their top target to get out there. But we do see them setting up with Derpy Byzantine in the mid lane. Tay is with the rest of the team team. Thrasian with another potential flank here does shadow dash away. Tay finds a huge parallel convergence. Shockwave landing onto him. Gonna chrono shift out of here. Silly Goose's Wild Turtle jumping into the base here. Lindy hop in the backline. Stop watch to buy some time for the rest of the team. Tay so low here, but Silly Goose is healthy. Silly Goose is popping off. Silly Goose is jumping around here. Finding one shot after another. And Otter finally taken down. A double kill for the Tristana. Silly Goose target focus onto Volatile. Knockup does miss from Derpy. He's gonna have to back off as Volatile with the Rangers focus. Gonna start firing away, but it's not on the right target. Silly Goose still healthy here. A huge charge there from him. Prey Dog getting so low here. Rocket jump from Silly Goose gonna finish off the game here. That is an ace for Divine Ascension, and it was a grueling 40-minute match, but after several Barons and an Elder Drake, they find a way to close it out around the enemy base there. They get the pick they're looking for, and they finish off Drift Esports.
Ascension comes in clutch at the end of the game. They make a beautiful engage, and Silly Goose is able to do what Tristana does best. Sit back, jump around, and burst targets down. It is a beautiful display at the end of the fight, and this is what the mid league is about. This is what we are here to see. Fun and exciting League of Legends. These players have something to prove, right? They want to keep climbing the ladder. They want to keep getting better and better, and that means they have to make the plays. They have to be, limit testing, pushing to the max and saying, hey, are you going to break us? Because if not, we're going to break you. We're going to push you, and if you can't take it, then we win. And we're going to get better, and you're just going to fall behind. And that game showed that both these teams want it. Their desire is there, and it is. I'm so excited for Game 2. I'm not going to lie. I am ecstatic over here.
Yeah, not only are we going to be looking forward to some draft adaptations from potentially both teams here, we'll have to see how they handle the side swapping here. Drift Esports going to be on the red side for the second game, with Scarlet moving over to the blue side. We are going to take a moment before getting into the next game to kick it back to the analyst desk. Valley, you better run over quick, because we are going to head over to the doctor and yourself for some more post-game commentary.
And so I do believe we are back here at the desk once again as the doctor and Ashley, bringing you the breakdown, the culmination, everything we just saw in a couple short minutes. So that was something, Ashley. I'm not gonna lie. Watching it there on the back foot, there were some good plays, and there were definitely some head scratches. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I didn't think I was gonna be exercising this much tonight. Jeez Louise. Okay. Yeah. So definitely some good plays and definitely some